Kambo doesn't cure you from anything.
Yeah.
Kambo awakens your body up to heal itself through the process of detoxification. Whether we're doing peyote, Kambo, ayahuasca, mushrooms, these medicines don't make you sick. They heal you from the sickness that's already within you. Right? So when we say you're purging, or instead of saying you're in TB or you're vomiting, throwing up, or whatever, it's like, no, you're getting well.
Nowadays, like everyone either wants to take medicine or wants to be a medicine man or medicine woman.
You work with the integrity, I would say, is basically you gotta be part of your community, and your community will kind of, people in your community will check you.
Yeah.
They will come out and they will tell you, they will call you out if something's not in alignment, if you're doing things wrong. Kambo's not a quick one-time fix it, which a lot of people think like battling, whatever addiction, or they're on this time of pills, or, they're battling some, crazy meth addiction or something, One session ain't gonna, Bufo alvarius is a toad medicine from the Sonora, Mexico. This medicine is 5-MeO DMT.
Yeah.
One of the most powerful, psychedelics, hallucinogens you can experience.
Welcome to the Raw Path to Awakening podcast. I'm your host, Ezequiel Reyes, where we share alternative information, unique, unfiltered perspectives on spiritual subject matters, and deconstruct colonization as we cultivate higher awareness in our daily lives. In this episode, we'll be interviewing Andre, who is a Kambo server and healer, among many things. And so in your own words, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
My name is Andre Guerrero Sandoval, also known as Dev Ajit by some of my yoga students, but I guess for lack of better terms, I'm not a big fan of labeling myself, but if I was to put a name on myself, I would say a medicine man.
Yeah.
I work with many different medicines, plant medicines. I usually said Kambo, frog medicine, being one of, more specifically, which is legal and something I can advertise about. So I'm really well known and for working with that medicine for the past 10 years.
So I understand that you've had pages taken down, even though you have you're serving legal medicine. What do you like? Does Instagram ever tell you why they take the pages down? Or
the biggest one, the main one, my personal page was taken down for breaking community guidelines. I just I could share a lot of wild information, on that page back in the day. But yeah, right in the crazy Biden era, it got the big censorship purge. One of the Instagram when deleted a bunch of pages around that happened. I was one of those first ones to go. But then they recently, they deleted one of my Kambo pages last year in December. And they didn't really give me a reason, basically breaking community guidelines again. And it was sharing a cannabis sound healing event that I was partaking in, and shared the flyer, and bam, it was flagged, and lost 15K, of my customers, people I was working with, for
So you say you're a medicine man. What does that mean to you, actually?
So I work with many different medicines. Like I said before, how people always ask me how I got into this. I was kind of in my youth. I kind of got into cannabis. My teenage years. Mushrooms came pretty much right along with that. I had a near-death experience in my 20s, which kind of was like my catalyst of my spiritual awakening. Still was working with cannabis, mushrooms. I was kind of like the mushroom man, or the weed man. At that time, and but as I became more spiritual and was after this near-death experience, led to much other medicines. In 2012, I got baptized into Native American church with peyote medicine. And that's when I kind of took a different approach to working with these medicines in a more sacred manner.
Why was that?
Well, I mean,
what was it about either the peyote experience, or was it more the people who were involved, or what made you take a step back or make you respect more of the medicines in general?
Yeah, I think I had a pretty vast experience working with mushrooms at the time. Over 10 years more or less. By the time I kind of got into peyote, so when I got into peyote, it's known as a grandfather medicine, and I never really had a grandfather in my life. And if you've ever been to a TB ceremony with the Native American church, it's really strict. There's kind of like, I tell people it's like the boarding schools of mystery schools, where like here's the rules, and so many protocols and things you need to do, and you need to be invited in. It's kind of exclusive because in that sense, because there's not many people you could fit in a teepee, and it's just they're different, like spiritual teachings, But like that was really, I felt like I needed discipline in my life. I was living a wild life in my youth, and I needed discipline, and that brought discipline. At the same time, I kind of got into Kundalini yoga and meditation, and I found the House of Guru Ram Dass in downtown Santa Ana, and that's how where I'm at serving the medicine at these days right now.
Okay, so in your youth, you would just, I guess, not to like call you out, but you like like you would, I guess, just distribute the medicines or share them, and and so that's probably why. So you said that's what got you into it. So it was your near-death experience that started your journey, or was it the medicine? What was it actually?
It definitely was a near-death experience. A little traumatic. It was doing some graffiti in my youth. I was on a high building. I don't have any recollection of this. I had like amnesia for like, I forgot what they call it, but for a little while. But anyways, long story short, I fell off the building. Friends, ended up taking me to the hospital, eventually later on that night or whatever. And I was broken pelvis, head trauma, collapsed lung. I was beat, bro, and thought I was ODing or something. They had no idea what I was doing because I was, doing something illegal. But basically, I woke up out of a coma, induced coma 2 days later. After I woke up out of that coma, it was, I felt like Neo coming out of the Matrix, basically, taking that red pill, and I felt like my whole world shifted, and I couldn't really understand what it was. But
whoa, hold on. So did you didn't like go to have an out-of-body experience, or you just like blacked out, or like what happened?
Yeah, so like I said, I don't have recollection of like the night of that night. I know, what I was doing because it was like, it was my thing, doing graffiti and whatever, all that whatnot. But from what I was told, the story. But yeah, I basically wake up out of a coma 2 days later.
Whoa!
And I'm thinking, I'm hearing all the cops. I felt like the cops were there, I guess, for like 2 days. This is 2 days later. But I thought the cops were gonna arrest me, and I try to figure out how to use the phone. And I'm calling my friends like at 3 a.m, and they're tripping out because they seen me in the hospital, and I'm like, hey, bro, you come pick me up, dude. The cops are gonna arrest me, dude. And I'm like, have no idea anything, dude. I'm like, head contusion. I'm like crazy migraines. I'm like sweating. I pull off all the little things, to get my pulse, and the freaking security guard came in, and like, I'd freaked out, bro. I was like, I tripped out. They had to hold me down, and they subdued me, and I just like, I had amnesia, so I kept waking up and like not remembering what happened.
Yeah.
So it was pretty.
That's really scary. Yeah. That's scary. Yeah, I can't even imagine like not recalling, keep forgetting where you are, and just keep waking up.
Yeah, it was one of the most like wildest, I would say, like psychedelic, like bufo medicine, 5-MeO DMT like trips of my lifetime. Like where time does not, even matter or whatnot. You come back into this body, and you're not the same person, bro. As I said, I felt like Neo coming out of that, waking up into the Matrix from that experience.
So do you ever feel like, I know you say you serve Kambo, but do you ever feel like out of place serving it?
I feel out of place serving Kambo.
I mean, like, because it's tied to really like indigenous cultures, and it's like, I know we're both Chicano, so it's, our roots are kind of like we've talked about before, it's like, depending on, sometimes we're too like Mexican for the white people, or but not Mexican enough for our own people, know?
Yes.
So it's like, and it's like with medicine that has like indigenous lineages, it's almost as if like, it's like, we don't want to be the ones that are like, oh yeah, they're just appropriating the medicine,
Yeah.
So that's why I'm asking you, is like, do you ever feel like out of place when you're like serving Kambo and knowing that like it's not really from your lineage? Or I mean, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on that?
So personally, I was really hesitant to even serve the medicine Kambo medicine myself. I worked with it for 2 years before I even almost like really even thought of the idea of even serving other people. For the first 2 years, I kind of basically say I was an apprentice with the medicine. I, shadowed one of my best friends. We would go everywhere, do these different retreats and whatnot. But as I was working with the medicine, I specifically started working with Kambo for the fertility benefits to help heal my wife and bless us with babies, which was one of my prayers when I first sat.
So she wasn't able to
have babies
before.
I missed that.
What's up with that?
So I'm the stepfather to my wife or our other children, and she knew I wanted to have children of my own.
Yeah.
And at the time, like I told you before, we were already working with peyote medicine and Native American church, other psychedelics and whatnot, and eventually to Kambo about 10 years ago when she was told she couldn't have any more children by a doctor, and we sought out for Kambo for the fertility benefits.
Yeah.
And, fast forward now, my daughter is 7 and my son's going to be turning 6 in a month or so. And, man, it's blessed us to heal my wife, blessed us with 2 babies. But through that journey, like I said, for the first 2 years, I was still focusing on, being the cannabis and mushroom man and the psychedelics and all that whatnot. But I had a studio at the time, the 8th Chakra Studio in downtown Santa Ana, which I had for 9 years. But we were hosting ceremonies there, and eventually just kind of like my brother kind of just pretty much passed the torch to me. And I kind of just took over a little bit of just serving the medicine. And I felt especially when I went into Peru with my wife after, we had with our first baby, she was pregnant, and we had our first baby. And I felt at that point I was kind of going through a pivotal point in my life, and like, what's the next step? And my brother was with me too, who helped us out with the medicine. And the way I felt, the medicine taught me the only way I could repay that medicine for blessing me with a baby and eventually 2 babies was to be in service to it and share the blessings. And, I've already been walking this path of medicines with integrity, the psychedelics and mushrooms, cannabis, all that for so many years. It was just kind of like a little evolution, of graduation eventually because all the people knew me already as the medicine man, or, like, Dre, go hit up Dre for the mushrooms, or, and so I had people, people come over, I want you to serve me, because they already had the faith and the trust in me. They saw me do the healing. They saw my life transform from being, some crazy, kid off the streets, and to being, a family man and, living, a yogi and living, pretty chill,
Did
life.
you grow up like pretty privileged or underprivileged? And what would you say?
I grew up, middle class, but I would say I was blessed. My father worked a lot. He wasn't around a lot, but he made the sacrifices for us to live a pretty good life. But it was still in Santa Ana, and it wasn't like I was living in the crazy suburbs of Beverly Hills or something. I was
it's a middle class.
All my friends who I played Pop Warner football with, or almost went to high school with, they all pretty much joined gangs and went that other route when I kind of took a different route.
And you have you ever served gang members?
Yeah, definitely, man. Plenty. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, I've served many different people. Get some of my best friends and whatnot. No, I don't know. I did serve Mexico to some people in Mexico, and I didn't question where they were from, but no, I don't know.
So how is that like? I guess serving. I'm not saying all our people are in gangs. Yeah. Obviously, that's a stereotype, but I mean, just in general.
Yeah.
How is that like serving people who are pretty underprivileged or have like not a lot of resources, or maybe not the best upbringings?
People always ask me why I kept my studio, or had my studio in Santa Ana, or why I still continue to serve at the yoga house in Santa Ana, and that's my hometown. And and it's not like I said I could probably go open up a shop or start a studio somewhere in LA or somewhere I want, but I'd prefer it to be there. And that's I gravitate. I love a lot of different types of people who gravitate towards me, my energy, and my services, even just by word of mouth. But I've served a lot of you might want to say homies or people, whatever who maybe have had a crazy life, maybe got institutionalized or whatnot. And this is something I do recommend for anybody. Whether you were incarcerated, whether you're a veteran, been into some war or some crazy stuff, PTSD.
This is a disclaimer. This podcast does not condone the use of any psychedelics or medicines. But this is all for entertainment, harm reduction and entertainment purposes. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
But you can continue.
So these medicines are great for anybody, who, if maybe dealing with PTSD, right, any types of trauma, trying to overcome.
But Kambo is not psychedelic, or
Kambo is not psychedelic whatsoever. Kambo is secreted from the monkey tree frog in the Amazon. Traditionally, it is used by tribes to prepare themselves to work with ayahuasca, which is a real popular psychedelic everybody knows about right now, usually. But yeah, it was also, given to the hunters before they go hunting into the jungle to remove this bad luck and bad energy clouding the aura, what they call penema, right? And as it removes that bad energy, then, they go out into the jungle and they catch whatever they're searching for.
Has there been any scientific studies or research done on the chemicals or compounds in Kambo that I guess prove or show its benefits, or is it mostly just it's still new research, or do you know anything about that?
Yeah, there's been tons of research done on it for the past, I would say at least over 50 years or so. But yeah, they studied it. I forgot the name of the scientist's name right now. I can't pronounce it, but they figured out that basically Kambo is such a powerful antibiotic, right? Anesthesia, right? Antimicrobial, and it's seriously also known as the vaccine of the forest, right? But they figured out it was such a powerful antibiotic that humans right now are becoming, what's the word? To antibiotics. We've been taking them for so long. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway,
immune?
Yeah, immune to no, they're not. Basically, they're not having an effect.
They're the other word I think is resistant.
Yeah. So basically, that Kambo, they figured out Kambo would be a powerful solution to, helping people with for any antibiotics. But the peptides in Kambo is what the really big magic is, and a lot of people who are into maybe.
Is that what helped your wife with the fertility, or what was it specifically?
There's many there's a few different there's hundreds of different peptides in this medicine, but there is one there's some peptides that actually do work on the male and the female on the reproductive system, and helping energy flow, chi energy flow. I always tell people this: Kambo is not a cure. I always make this big clear. Kambo doesn't cure you from anything.
Yeah.
Kambo wakens your body up to heal itself through the process of detoxification, right? Because there's nothing psychedelic about this medicine. It's about a 15, 20-minute cleanse. But as you do this cleanse, I believe, in my opinion, is you're speeding up this process of autophagy, right? When people start fasting, where your cells basically start healing themselves as you're pushing out all these toxins, and then you just revitalize your whole body and your system. So as you're doing Kambo, you're speeding up that whole process.
How does it feel like in the body? Is it hot? Is it cold? What's the sensations like?
With the medicine?
With the Kambo,
Yeah, Kambo is definitely a fire medicine.
Yeah.
That's why I give you water during the experience to kind of cool you down and, act as a pumping mechanism, pump out the toxins in your body. Yeah. Because you do purge on the medicine. And that's why, like I said, tribes do it traditionally before they do ayahuasca to help purge out any toxins or negative energies or bad vibes, whatever, all that stuff out of their body. So they go into that ayahuasca ceremony more cleansed mentally, physically, spiritually, and they have a more better experience.
So
overall.
You do feel like some sort of heat sensation? Or?
Oh yeah, you go through a lot of different sensations through the Kambo process. Like I said, it's about a 15-minute process where I tell people it's like maybe being on a roller coaster. First few minutes feels good. You can feel this energy, the chi energy, kundalini energy, what do you want to call it, flowing through all the body, right? All this Kambo medicine, and you're starting to feel that heat, right? You start sweating it out, but there's a point maybe in that roller coaster ride where the nausea starts to kick in, and that's pretty much where you pop, right, and start getting well, start releasing all that negative energy.
You're
and everything.
saying when you throw up, that's when you get well.
Yeah, when I was taught in ceremony, we call it getting well, is because we look at all these medicines, whether we're doing peyote, Kambo, ayahuasca, mushrooms. These medicines don't make you sick; they heal you from the sickness that's already within you. right? So when we say you're purging, or instead of saying you're in TB or oh you're vomiting, throwing up or whatever, it's like no, you're getting well. That's what I was taught by my elders, you know. So that's what we say, you know.
So what are like I guess some misconceptions about Kambo?
Yeah, there's a lot. You know, that's one thing I wanted to bring up, but we didn't bring up the first time we talked about this. Is
what was it? Tell me.
I don't want to glorify serving this medicine. It's not an easy practice. It's not an easy service.
Or any medicine.
Yeah, any medicine. But me working with Kambo specifically, because I see people all the time wanting to serve this medicine and have no experience, you know, and it's just like a slap in the face and whatnot. But working with this medicine, sometimes I'm working with people at their lowest point in their lives, and they're unloading on me. I mean, you know, and they're at their last resort. They've, you know, they're going through some crazy traumas. They just lost someone physically, and you know, and all different types of stories. You know, all different types of traumas. The worst things you can hear and believe, and you got to learn to be there and hold space for them, and you know, not absorb it, not be part of their story, and just to be, you know, the facilitator where you're just facilitating, serving that medicine in a safe way, and they have, you know, a beautiful, safe, you know, healing experience, and you know, and able to return, you know.
How can someone if someone wants to serve Kambo, someone tells you, hey, I want to serve Kambo, like, what's your first reaction? Like, and like, is there a way to be integral with if someone wants to serve medicine, or is it like, is it just, what's the process? Do they have to study under a tribe? Do they study under people a certain?
That's a great.
What's the?
This is a great question. So we didn't really dive in this last time, and either too. There is a couple organizations. When I first started, there was maybe only one organization that had a training program, and one in the other in like the UK at the time. About 10 years ago, and now it's changed. There's many different training programs and whatnot, but I specifically chose not to work with that one program back in the day, because the people I knew who were going to there, who I was already meeting through the community and through our Kambo ceremonies, like hosting at my studio or wherever retreats I was working at, like those people lacked a lot of knowledge and wisdom, and I was kind of like mind blown, like, wow, you just got a certificate, you could serve this medicine, and you're over here still doing this medicine with us, but you're like, I have no idea. Like I had more wisdom or experience with them than the medicine than they did. And I was like mind blown. Wow, they're just like giving out these certificates to anybody almost, in a sense.
Would you say there's a certain there's people that shouldn't be serving this medicine at all, right?
Yeah, there's tons of people, and I've seen a lot of them. And they come and they go, and they don't last long because they maybe not have the right intentions. They thought of it as like a quick job or something they can make quick money, and that's why I said this is not a job. This is not something like, oh, I sought out like, oh, I want to be a Kambo practitioner. This is something that like I kept graduating, serving all these different medicines, and it came to a point where Kambo helped me and my family so much. I was like, all right, now I need to serve this medicine to the people who were asking, you know.
So I had an episode with a woman named Florina.
Yeah.
And what she basically told me is that first, not everyone should be serving medicine,
right.
Number one, and not everyone should be doing any medicine at all. Because she said that in the past, it would be the shamans or the medicine people who would take the medicine, and then they would deliver the message or whatever message they needed to be delivered to the person who needed healing. But it's like nowadays, like everyone either wants to take medicine or wants to be a medicine man or medicine woman, you know? So how do we navigate with integrity when that's like the kind of climate we're going through right now, you know?
No, I totally agree. The way I was taught, and my brothers and, you know, people, elders in the community would taught me like to work with the medicine for 2 years, right? And they said for the first year, you're working on just serving yourself. I was working with Kambo, right?
Yeah.
So I would get sticks my friend would give me, and then I would just like, whenever I felt I needed it, I would, you know, build my relationship. I would serve myself or serve my wife, my son, or someone in my family, you know, for that first year. The second year, then I expanded out. Then I started serving, you know, some of my best friends would come over, or people that needed it, you know, like family, like other family members, you know, serving it to my father, you know. And it just kind of graduated to like the second year when I was like, is this something, you know, I was sticking with, and and I questioned myself, and I was and I reached out to people in the community, and everyone was like, kind of like, yo, Dre, you've been holding it down, you've had your studio you've been running ceremonies out there for so many years, like.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, what are you asking us for? Basically, kind of like.
So I'm not sure if that really answered my question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So the question is like, how can people walk with integrity when everyone's trying to like, either be a medicine man or like take medicine? Like, how can someone be integral? Like, and like. Are there certain people who shouldn't take anything,
No, I agree. Yeah. I mean, I'm not here to be the medicine police, but no, I will say that, there's a lot of people, like I said, that's what deterred me from working with certain, these programs. They have like a, a 2-week program or a weekend program when they like, you got all of a sudden you're a Kambo facilitator or something. I was like, whoa, that's not a lot of experience. It's not a long time to all of a sudden have you the certificate, and people want and they go get, and they lack a lot of experience, and that's could be dangerous when you're working with these medicines.
Yeah.
To work with the integrity, I would say is basically you gotta have be part of your community, and your community will kind of people in your community will check you. They will come out and they will tell you, they will call you out if something's not in alignment, if you're doing things wrong.
And speaking of something that I just remembered, you mentioned this lady.
Yeah. So
can we talk about that?
Yeah. So that's what I was kind of there. That was a great segue. I was going to get into that. Like,
yeah.
So, there's this lady in the community.
Not your community, but another community.
Well, I'll just say she's from like the IE. You can figure it out. But yeah, this lady who bestowed herself or was known as something shaman. Which is the biggest red flag, right? When people call themselves a shaman. I think we talked about last episode, but she was in integrity with the medicine, and she had a person who passed under her Hape initiations with this tobacco snuff, and she did get called out by the community.
She didn't get any charges.
No, she luckily got away because.
Luckily.
Well, for her, it was lucky, right? Yeah, luckily she got away because it's unfortunate. Yeah, it was a crazy thing that happened in the community, and everybody knows about it, especially in the medicine community. And,
she should have got charges.
And she just didn't skip a beat. And it was crazy because she kind of exposed herself to a lot of people in that community who were, like looked up to someone, they put them on a pedestal, and they think just because they're serving medicines and, they're holier than thou. And then they realize this person is doing it for, maybe negative intentions or whatever, money or fame or something, and they're not being careful, and
there's that spiritual ego, right?
It will sneak up right up on you, and that's something that happened in the community. But like I said, there's only so much we can do, and the family couldn't press charges. I forgot whatever loophole there was, but unfortunately, I don't think there was any justice served in that, in that case.
This is just my opinion. I feel like if someone is seeking help, I don't think the first thing you do is serve them medicine. I think if this person is like literally like the most depressed person, or like is literally just got out of prison, or like some extreme circumstance, then I think medicine can really help them. But I feel like if there's energy work, there's something called the nervous system release. There's energy work. There's different other tools we can use. But in your words, what are the things that you recommend? Are there some people that you turn down if they want to work with you and they want medicine, or do you recommend it with like other things alternative than medicine, or is it like do you always just go straight to like serving them something?
No, I do. I do always recommend people a lot of other holistic or natural methods of whether it's supplements or things that little biohacks to help live a healthier life.
Yeah.
But I do screen people, and there are certain people who, whether they're more or less sometimes have either heart attacks.
Yeah,
I kind of do stick away from. There's certain times where I have worked with people who has been, like my father, who was like 10 years, post, and any heart issues, where I have worked with them on a lighter sense and was able to work around it and stuff like that. But also people, like one person I had come to me, and I was communicating with her daughter about the mother who she signed up to do Kambo. And I was like, is she on any chemo? Is she on any chemo because she was fighting cancer? And the daughter said, no, she's not. She's not on chemo. But so when she brought her mother to do Kambo, the mother tells me, comes up and tells me, I'm still on these little the chemo pills.
Yeah. So you had to turn it down.
Yeah, and I felt horrible. I had like, it was a full ceremony. I had like 10 people in front of, I was sitting waiting, and then like she's telling me, and I felt bad because they drove from wherever, and she flew out from Florida. And it was
you have to do the right thing.
Yeah, it was a miscommunication, and I felt horrible. And I was like, I really would love to serve you, but until you get off these, I can't serve you. I don't want to be that one guy who does something stupid and something bad happens to you, unfortunately, and for what? For a quick buck? Like, nah, it was. So I just told her, no, I'm sorry, and told the daughter, I'll honor your money or whatever you want to do for you to do Kambo, because she wanted to do Kambo too, but not right then and there. But I just had to turn it down.
So there are those people that you turn down, and people that you recommend them doing other holistic things than just medicine. Because
go out in nature and go enjoy some sun.
I think it's important to have like discernment. And because, like I said, in the spiritual communities right now, like everyone wants to just take something, and like I don't think every single person should take something, and
I totally agree. And even Kambo's not a quick one-time fix it, which a lot of people think like, I'm battling, whatever addiction, or they're on this time of pills, or they're battling some crazy meth addiction or something. One session ain't gonna help out, but it's something that's something you gotta really battle and work with, more consistent. If you're fighting something to that extreme, or even a more severe illness, whether, like I said, cancer or other HIV or other STDs like that. That's something you would definitely need to be more consistent with, when you're healing. But it's not for everybody.
So if someone's seeking a healer or a shaman or a medicine person, what are some of the green flags and what are some of the red flags?
Well, just being part of being part of the community, and just hearing from other people by word of mouth. Whether there's good stories about people who are doing good work, and then there's a lot of like red flags, like bad stories, like that lady we were just talking about, and you see those videos also on YouTube and things where you're like, hey,
I'm not saying any names, but
you can do the research. No, but definitely, just if you're being part of the community, there's a lot of like, I get a lot of people who come to me just by word of mouth, or their family, or their friends, or like I said, about my Instagram page is taken down. I've lost a lot of clientele over the years and whatnot because of that. And but I still have a consistent amount of people who they're consistent with their healing, or they tell their friends, and someone's seen their their whole life change, and when their family is ready, then they come and they bring them along.
So other than just maybe feedback, is there something that, I mean, like for me, like when I meet someone and I am interacting with their energy, or like I'm just talking to them, a red flag for me is like they speak very highly of themselves, or because that, instead of them being more down to earth, you know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah.
But what you're saying is like, if they have like, I guess, good recommendation or good reputation in the community, that's like a green flag.
I mean, pretty much the work speaks for itself,
So word of mouth,
and you also go and experience it, because sometimes not everybody has the best experience with those medicines themselves, and then they blame it like, oh, it was that person, or it was that medicine or something, and but you try it with a different person who has a different way of working with the medicines, or different upbringing. You have a whole different experience. So one thing that kind of separates me from a lot of other practitioners on that note is I serve the medicine with a drink called cassava, the way the Matsi tribe served this Kambo. And so I make people drink 2 cups of this drink as opposed to 2 liters of water.
Yeah. What
So
is that drink?
it's just a fermented yucca root based drink.
And what does it do?
So the fermentation of the drink is going to go into your throat, intestines, gut, and everything. It's also going to make the whole process of you getting well, right? Purging, throwing up, makes it quicker, more gentle on your body. I believe it's more efficient at pulling out the toxins, and I would say it's a lot safer than the water method, where people make them drink 2 liters of water prior to doing Kambo. Then they do, Kambo, and you're still drinking more water, which could be, dangerous, especially if you're
too much water.
Yeah, especially if you're dehydrated, and it could be water intoxication, which it can be deadly. Which some of the cases, if you do look into it, Kambo, people have passed away on Kambo, it was through the water intoxication method.
So I know we've talked a lot about Kambo, and you say you've worked with other medicines like mushrooms. Do you work with ayahuasca at all?
Not personally, I don't serve it, but I still sit with the medicine. Peyote.
So peyote and mushrooms mainly.
Peyote, mushrooms. I grow wachuma.
Wachuma is the San Pedro, right?
Yeah, it's like the cousin of San Pedro, just from like South America. And, but I don't really serve that one. I just work with that. Work with the bufo toad medicine.
And what is that for people who are watching who don't know what that is? What is bufo toad medicine?
Bufo alvarius is a toad medicine from the Sonora, Mexico. This medicine is 5-MeO DMT.
Yeah,
one of the most powerful, psychedelics, hallucinogens you can experience. Some people nickname it or call it the God molecule. Right, not to confuse anyone with DMT, which is more people know it as the spirit molecule. This is a lot more intense. More like a near-death experience almost.
So I've heard of stories of people, and this is with psychedelics and without psychedelics, but I've heard experiences of people like living a whole nother life then coming back.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm being real with you, I feel like this life I'm living is because I took a certain medicine I never came back from. I have to live it all. I have to live it all out, and then I'll come back. That's for another time. But yeah. So where was I going with this? Oh yeah. Have you had like any? I know you had your near-death experience where you just were unconscious. But have you ever had an experience like where you were kind of outside of time and space, and you experienced like another reality or another life somewhere else? Or have you heard those stories, like people like who like they hit their head, they get concussions, or they take medicine? Because I heard a story of this guy who he took DMT and he lived the whole life as like in Egyptian times.
Oh yeah.
And he lived his whole life, and then he got killed, and he came back, and he was like never the same ever again.
Yeah, I would say I definitely have had some differently past life incarnation memories, if that's what I want to call them, on many different psychedelics. Mushrooms primarily, been on some heroic doses.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe ayahuasca and bufo is a whole other. I don't even remember that.
So why do they call bufo the God molecule?
I do not know that specific answer why they call it the God molecule.
Well, is it because the experiences are so powerful? Like, because that's what it sounds like.
So my analogy is like the DMT or NDMT, right? And which is more, a lot of people know the
spirit molecule.
The spirit molecule. So to me, in my opinion, I tell people the spirit DMT, that's like a bungee jump or skyrocket into other dimensions, and it's all like a carnival, and it's beautiful, sacred geometry and other beings talking to me. Bufo was like me nearly dying and going to God, straight to God or concept, whatever, everything and nothing, and having some type of outer body and some spiritual experience that's profound beyond words can really explain. And you can't even, words will never even give it justice trying to describe it, but it's one of the most profound spiritual experiences one could ever have. And yeah, you're not the same person when you come back.
Whoa.
That's what Mike Tyson smoked and kind of became a big preacher for doing a lot of it.
Yeah, I was watching Mike Tyson on a podcast, and he had a bag that looked like chips, but it was mushrooms. He's just eating them.
Yeah, he's definitely a psychonaut.
Yeah. So I actually wanted to ask you about your experience with mushrooms, because I feel like everyone is either growing mushrooms, taking mushrooms. What kind of benefits or can someone experience taking like psilocybin or like those types of medicines?
And if you're taking it you could take it microdose. You don't have to take a big old macro dose. Hero's journey to have a profound effect, healing effect from these medicines. Mm-hmm. I've seen people where they've done Kambo with us, and then we put them on microdose mushroom capsules. Yeah, as a good like post-care medicine and help them overcome anxiety, depression, and some even help them even get off. They got themselves off SSRIs and other antidepressants by doing that same regimen. 3 sessions in Kambo with then microdose mushroom capsules. Mm-hmm. But yeah, on a more macro type of sense, I would say, definitely you're going to have some type of ego death, as some might call it, where a part of your old self is going to, reveal itself. It may not be all, love and light, but it's definitely going to, your shadow self may be exposed. And
so it could be kind of a dark experience.
Yeah. It could be a really profound, dark healing experience where you got to, pull through that darkness and you'll see the light at the end of the tunnel. Where you have that, you're crying for the first few hours or something, and then you finally have that epiphany or that lesson or that you finally, whatever it is, that catalyst that you need to have that shift in your, your consciousness and, to receive that healing from the medicine.
Have you ever seen anyone like freak out on mushrooms?
Definitely, yes. Yes, and this is something too I want to bring up. We kind of did talk about it where...
psychosis.
Just, I've had people, one of my good friends, a yoga student at the time back in the day when I was teaching yoga, went to a festival, bought some drugs off a stranger at a festival, did some acid and mushrooms together, and came back with a negative entity attached to him so much that his family put him into a psych ward for a couple of days. After that, they were like down to the last resort. That didn't really work after it was all drugged up, and they gave him to me, and we gave him Kambo. We gave him at least 2 sessions with Kambo, but that was probably one of the most scariest times serving Kambo to a friend of mine, where it looked like we were doing an exorcism on him.
Whoa!
Yeah, and it scared the shit out of me. Sorry for cussing, but
okay. So, are you able to share like? You said exorcism, so it's like,
yeah,
like was he yelling out of the top of?
Oh, he was screaming. We had homies, brothers, yogis holding him down.
Yogis holding
him down, and then we had to do it not even in my studio because he was
yogis and homies.
Yeah, we had my studio going on. We're like a combo server, and then we put him in the other homie studio, which is like a private studio. And we had like extra helpers holding him down. And the first thing we did, we gave him the eye drop Sananga, bro, and he was like like burning your eyes. But when he did that, he was like the demon, like he was coming out of him, bro. And it was fucking scary, bro. And it was like my good friend, a little younger kid, and I was like, oh my god, what did this kid do? And anyways, long story short, we did him Kambo at least a couple of times, and he came back to himself, and you could tell, that he that straightened him out, and I'm sure stopped touching, those whatever drugs and whatever,
Yeah, so psychedelics can be harmful if there's no guidance, if you just take them off the street.
Yes.
Like I said, one of the reasons I started this podcast, or I wanted to talk to people like Andre, is because I wanted to really make it clear and share that there is a dark side to psychedelics and medicines such as these. Not everyone should take them, and especially if you're just at a festival and you're just trying to party, like. These are not party drugs, These are not for recreation. I mean, if you treat them with like just for recreational purposes, that could happen.
Yeah, I'll say this, and I know stories and know people personally that have died on mushrooms, bufo, and maybe other psychedelics, but that's all I can know, like personally, people. And, these medicines are not, like as you said, nothing to play around with. You got to be with safe people, your surroundings. And one story I'll share is friends of mine, I won't say their names, but he told me one time we were doing mushrooms together, and they all, whatever, at their buddy's house, one of them crashed out. One of them walked outside and went on his own in the morning, and they woke up to their friend being killed on the street because some guy came up on him, and this is in LA, and whatever happened, but basically they woke up out of that mushroom ceremony realizing their friend was killed outside in their front yard because they let him go. He was all wilding out on mushrooms, or he just went to go do whatever he went to do. But
that's intense.
So that traumatized all those dudes. Were like, we haven't touched that medicine, we haven't touched that in years, And I was like, man, I wouldn't even want to touch. That happened to me and my friends, like how much, can you imagine?
But how did someone die on? Okay, so someone's died on mushrooms. How does someone die on bufo? Is it the actual chemical, or did someone just do the same thing where they walked? They just.
What
happened with the bufo story? Like, how did they die?
What I've heard, what I was told is someone basically ran off a cliff.
Whoa.
And on the medicine, and people couldn't hold him back, and
Wow.
So, So it's like an unfortunate. It's like not the best. The two biggest things I was always taught was your set, right? The intentions you set, and
set and setting.
Set and setting, right? And one of those things is off. That's a big red flag. Of like, oh man, we didn't really set intentions, or the settings off, or something like you were asking me earlier. Those are two big red flags of like, how someone's holding space with these medicines and their environment, the setting, everything. And did they set intentions? Are they praying with this medicine? Or are they just, serving me medicine at a gym or somewhere? And they're like, there's like, here, just here, and like, there's no sacredness, to it, like there's a lot of, people out there, they do stuff like that. And, I think those people don't last because it's probably not in their heart, or they realize,
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
That's unfortunate because, there's a lot of people out here really just seeking healing, and that I've heard, because I've heard story, and this is, I just wanted to make it clear, there is like propaganda, like the news does say certain things, but at the same time, there's actual stories where people have had unfortunate events or like they pass because, and either they like Andre said, like jumped off a cliff, or something physical happened to them. Yeah. While under the influence of the medicine.
Yeah. On that note, I would say there was a case recently of some lady, I can't remember her name, but she passed away in Mexico, and they tried to say it was Kambo. Oh, she passed away. It was just like an aspiring actress, some an up and coming, teenager girl or whatever, and. More or less, they said, "Oh," and then there was all the articles I read in Spanish. There was a lot of misinformation, a lot of weird stuff that like they called it a potion, or there was like so much like they had no idea what Kambo was and everything, or they put stuff in your eyes that temporarily blind you, and it's just like Sananga medicine, it stings, but it doesn't blind you. Actually, corrects blindness. But anyways, it was. I read all these different articles, so I was trying to read up on it because I had everybody sending me this information too, but. I'm like, all right, I'm not a detective, but it was like 4 hours later they found this happened at a Red Cross hospital they took her to, right, which is another red flag, right? Red Cross, right? But I don't want to get into, but it was like, how does someone die on this medicine 4 hours later? Like there was no, official biopsy or whatever, or
what do you think
autopsy.
Happened? Or
I have no idea what really happened.
If you wanted to speculate,
if I want to speculate. She could have been maybe doing the water method where she drank too much water and water intoxication. Where she just if you're drinking too much water, it's called water intoxication. Your body, your liver, everything shuts down. You can't process all that water, and your sodium levels, everything's go off, and you pretty much just kill yourself if you're drinking too much water. That's just like speculation. I have no idea what happened, because they're saying this happened 4 hours after the Kambo ceremony. They drove and they took her to this Red Cross hospital, and then she passed away or something, and I haven't really seen any recent updates on the story or whatnot, but to me, like I said, it was a bunch of like, it just seemed like, I don't think she died out of Kambo, Kambo didn't kill her. It was something else, some other malpractice or something.
And then that lady who calls herself a shaman, like it wasn't the hape. It was like, I remember you saying they just like choked or something.
Suffocation.
Like,
suffocation.
Suffocation. Suffocation. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So at least from the stories I've been hearing, it's like, it's not, I don't think it's directly the medicine, but it's like either someone is under the influence and they do some action that leads to their demise, and or I guess with hape, it's choking.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's just people not working with integrity with the medicine, and I feel like I said, the work speaks for itself. There's good stories of people doing good work, and there's bad stories of people doing some bad work, unfortunately. And time reveals all, and I'm good. Thank God. I've been pretty safe. I've been pretty smart by the way I've been sharing these medicines for the past almost 10 years or so, and I haven't had any unfortunate accidents or anything like that. So
I remember the other time you were here, you mentioned you helped this homie out that I think he just got out of prison or jail, and like he I'm not sure if he was a creative guy or something, but like you said that his whole life turned around after he took.
Yeah.
Can you share that story? Because I know we've been sharing a lot of.
There's a few.
We've been sharing a lot of like the scary stuff first. I just wanted to get that, but now I want to go into like the good stories.
So I would say yes. Some people who are suicidal, close friends of mine, lived a maybe crazier life or youth or whatever, and I won't get into all that, but came to me, I'm not knowing my friend's suicidal. People don't wear a name tag on their, tell that, I just knew they were maybe having hard times and whatnot. There's one person specifically the story you're talking about. When I had my studio, I saw him downstairs, skateboarding, and I just like knocked on the window. He saw me and told him come on up, and I hadn't seen him for a long time. And long story short, I could tell he was just going through some hard times. So I served him some hape medicine. He was like ready to do whatever. He didn't tell me till later he was suicidal, but I was like, "Yeah, give me anything, bro. Dre, I trust you." So, I served him some hape medicine. He pretty much got like Kambo, got well on that. He was throwing up, and he like fell asleep for like an hour. I led in my studio, and I was just working. And then when he woke up, my son was there. I don't know how old he was at the time, probably like 8 or 9, and he saw my son. He just started playing with my son, and that like child spirit was like reawoken with him in it, and. He eventually did Kambo like that weekend, and that's when he kind of came out and told me, like after the ceremony, he told us like, I was suicidal this last week, came here, saw Dre, he invited me out, gave me this hotbed medicine, and now I'm here doing Kambo. And after Kambo, it totally shifted his life around, and his art, everything expanded, and he blew up in a good way, and we became a little more like successful, and things, it just changed, for him in a good way. So. But there's many different stories. I could bore you with days of just people having a shift in their life. And sometimes that's all they really need is Kambo. There's so many benefits from it. But it's just an energetic cleanse. And the people in the jungles are not dealing with diabetes, cancer, and depression, and all these crazy things that we're diagnosed or we're on over here in the States. They just serve it to them just for the warriors to go hunting, and it's something, it's their daily, it's their cultural thing, their medicines. And we're over here, we're dealing with all these different,
Why do you think here in the West we have so much disease?
Oh, that's a whole other rabbit hole. It's everything.
It's part of it. I mean, you're out here, you're helping people. And so what do you think why do you think here in the West there's so much disease? What's going on?
You could say, if you go down the rabbit hole, I would say, we're being poisoned, whether it's the food, the water, it's a lot of different things, microplastics. There's so many different things that I can go off on, fluoride, all these things that, like we start wondering, like, why are they taking this or what out of the food, or why are they taking this out of water now? GMOs, all these, fake food things, and, coming out, and is it really healthy? Is it, should people be eating this stuff 3 times a day? And there's a lot of things we've already been programmed to believe. I won't get into, all of it, but I would just say,
do you think there's like people intentionally? Well, I have my own opinions about what's going on, but I want to ask you. Do you think there's people intentionally trying to poison us or trying to harm us?
Remember, this is for entertainment purposes only, right? Yes, of course there is. You know, people who, you know, make GMOs and, you know, other, I don't even want to say that, but, you know, there's, of course, there's people with an agenda for depopulation and, you know. There's no doubt about that. You know, there's people, men are becoming infertile. There's fertility has gone down so much. It's a little scary a little bit if you go down those certain rabbit holes, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. And I think Kambo is actually one of the most powerful medicines to help humanity, you know, fight off extinction. Where, you know, people are in certain countries are having less babies, and like I said earlier, Kambo is a powerful fertility medicine, and people are all of a sudden, you know, we're becoming really infertile, men and women, you know, and Kambo helps out with both. So,
do people know, like, what's the reasoning behind the infertility? Is it the certain chemicals? Is it the air, the water, or is it?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a scientist. You know, I'm not you know, so, there's plenty of things. I'm sure a whole plethora of things you can figure out and you know, go down those rabbit holes. And,
but in general,
you know,
there's disease in the West because I guess we're out of balance, and there's, I guess, just like our food system and like the water, I guess the air, even pollution.
Everything, One of my elders explained it to me, and I want to say this is like, and it's an analogy. He said, cancer is harmony, is nature out of harmony, right? And the world Earth, he was talking about, you know, is fighting cancer right now. He said, like, we need to return to these plant medicines, to these ancient indigenous ways to heal ourselves, to heal, you know, as we heal ourselves on our planet, we're helping, you know, heal Mother Earth. We're all connected, and we see the oneness within all. So as we're doing the healing on ourselves, you know, we're helping, you know, humanity heal, we're helping Mother Earth heal, and we're using these medicines how they were intended. You know, one of my elders said, our ancestors reincarnated into these medicines in these times so we could, you know, ingest that peyote button, drink the ayahuasca, you know, eat the mushroom, whatever it is, the wachuma, smoke the cannabis, whatever it is, medicine you needed to find peace, to find harmony, to heal your body, whatever it was, to connect to spirit, to source, that these medicines would be provided for us in these times that we're in right now. So I kind of went off on a tangent, maybe.
No, I think that was perfect. Is there anything that you would like to anyone who's watching, anything you would like anything you want to close out with, or like, you'd want people to know, like something that would be useful for, like, on someone who's seeking healing, someone who's maybe not in the best place right now, because I know you've helped up a lot of people.
Yeah.
And like, what advice would you give to people who are watching? You know, like, so anything.
Yeah. I would say, people, if you're interested in working with plant medicines, right? It's not a race. It's not a competition, right? You don't need to mark them all off the bucket list in 30 days or in 1 year, you know. And you need time for integration, which is key for every medicine. You know, spending time to really apply the lessons you learn from those experiences. But most importantly, it's a process. It's not going to be a one and done type of deal, one type of medicine. It may be multiple medicines, and maybe obviously multiple experiences. And I feel, in my personal opinion, for, you know, working with these psychedelics and community for over 10 years or so, it is probably vital to do Kambo before you do work with psychedelics. Just as traditionally people, the tribes work with ayahuasca, will do a Kambo cleanse before they do an ayahuasca experience, and some even also right after, is because Kambo is not psychedelic. It's cleansing your mind, body, and soul. So it almost guarantees a more better, blissful experience with whatever psychedelic medicine you're experiencing. Whether you're doing wachuma, peyote, mushrooms, you know, you name it. just to do the work, to do the pre-work where you're cleansing yourself, your mind, body, and soul. So when you're ready to do those other medicines, you're not going to have such an intense, wild experience or dark experience. And you've done some of the shadow work and some of the things to really make yourself have a better experience. You're not going into an ayahuasca experience still being, a drug addict or alcoholic or taking a bunch of pharmaceuticals and, you cleanse yourself,
So people have to prepare
yourself, and then, like I said, it's
that makes sense.
That's the best thing you can do. Yeah. And you'll have a better experience, hands down.
So that's been the Raw Path to Awakening podcast. And I also wanted to, before we go, you can watch this on Spotify, YouTube, and I'll leave Andre's information in the YouTube description and also in the Spotify description if you want to work with him. So, yeah. And that's been the Raw Path to Awakening podcast. And I'll catch you guys later.